Yes, we got a full house. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We are now recording this, so please make sure that your mics are muted until uh, it's time to talk. Um, Thank you very much for joining us today. Today, we're going to focus on meals and volunteering in camp specifically, but we can open it up for other conversations and questions as we progress. Let's see. All right. So the leads met a couple days ago just to go over our plans for how we're going to control the volunteering assignments. We talked about, being volunteered versus voluntold. Um, those are two very big different things. So we want to give everybody a chance to opt in on your own and get yourself scheduled. So Sam is going to be leading the volunteering part of this, and I believe Christy is going to be assisting him as we move forward in that part of our process. So I'm going to hand this over to Sam at this point.
Hello, everybody. The plan basically is to have a spreadsheet at the top of the Sun Guardian page. It's not posted now, but I'll have it, make sure it's posted after the meeting. And I'll make a post on the wall to let everybody know it's on there. And you can just go on and sign up for a couple shifts. There's descriptions for each of the shifts. We're looking for everybody to take one meal shift and then make sure that you're taking a volunteer shift about every other day. And we also want to emphasize that in addition to the shifts that we've explicitly listed on the spreadsheet, we want to make sure that everyone has sort of a sense of community. Just make sure that you're helping out where you can as well, even if you're not listed on there. Just help make sure the camp is clean, maybe help somebody clean up after a meal, that sort of thing. The volunteer shifts are first come, first served, so do keep an eye out for that link because the sooner that you sign up, the more likely you are to get the shift that you want. That's about it. Does anybody have any questions? Scott, you're on mute. Hello?
So, Sam, do you want to talk about the kinds of shifts that are available and what all is entailed?
So there's a lot of different shifts. Again, the description is on there, but basically we have
Sorry, Sam, I think we lost you. Your connection's breaking up. Sam, are you there?
All right, can you guys hear me? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm back. Sorry about that. I have no shortage of technical difficulties when it comes to communicating out here, so sorry about that. All right, so yeah, what Sam was saying is absolutely correct. We want to really, instill our sense of community with everyone within camp. And that means even if you're not specifically signed up for something, that you still are conscious of things that might need to be done. In the Burning Man world, this is among the 10 principles we're talking about here. We're talking about immediacy. We're talking about community. We're talking about interactivity. So these are things that we're hoping to inspire and instill in everybody in camp to be actively connected to what's going on. So when the volunteer sheet gets posted, like we discussed originally, everybody's going to choose one meal. And then if you have helpers, that's appreciated, but you're not committed to having to do that. But then again, there we go with that sense of community one more time. Someone's got their mic unmuted. So going back to that, so there at least plan on something once a day. Make sure that you're at least going on one ice run. That you're at least, being a, temple fluffer for one day. The leads are going to kind of let you guys go forward on that to take those roles. And this isn't to say that we don't want to work for the camp. That's saying that you guys are going to be asked to kind of take the lead in the volunteer roles at first. Some of us have been working on this for 6 months, and we're going to be there supporting you guys too. So if you need a hand, or if you need even if you need a shoulder to cry on, or you need, just a moment to yourself, I highly encourage that you just walk up to myself, Matt, or Sam and say, I need a minute, or I need help, or there's that thing again where HALT comes up again. It's hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. So if you're in that moment, all you have to do is say that word to us. Or maybe you see somebody else having a moment themselves. It's okay, to, take that extra moment. If you see a campmate that's kind of struggling, please let us know. See, these are all those really important things. And the volunteering assignments are what's going to keep the camp running and the camp engaging. The thing about a theme camp is that it creates a performance. And that's essentially what we're doing. We're creating a production for the Burning Man community. We're making this temple or this haunted space as an entertainment venue for people to come into camp at any time they want. I'd rather avoid keeping people from the backstage area, but we're going to have a casual area where the fire pit's going to be set up where guests are more than welcome to come and hang out. But that's also why it's important that everybody bring their own chairs. So we have those. And please take them home when you're done. Last year, I was left with almost a dozen chairs at the end of the burn that nobody knew who they belonged to. And you should have seen the last few of us that were there that were splitting them up and saying, okay, I'll take these 6, you take these 4, stuff like that. So that's also part of, pack it in, pack it out. So volunteering. Are there any questions on the volunteer list that we can tackle now? Go ahead, Pat.
2 questions. I saw a spreadsheet earlier that had volunteer assignments and days and times. I filled that out. Is that the same form, or are you going to send something new?
Well, the top of that form also said, "Do not fill this out," and that was me in a discussion with Sam about our best way of presenting it.
Okay.
And it was, and we went a different route than what was on that page.
Okay.
So it did say, the first line on that page was, please do not fill this out.
Okay, I was flipping through spreadsheets. So we're going to wait till you email us that spreadsheet, or in the next day there'll be a new spreadsheet there?
By middle of the day today, Sam will have, go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, what I was saying before was I'll put that spreadsheet at the top of the page and then I'll make a separate note on the page alerting everybody to the fact that I've added the spreadsheet.
Okay. You're a little broken up, Sam. So I'm going to just kind of interject a little bit. Sorry about that. But what Sam is saying, that later today he's going to be posting that on the group. And then he'll also put another post out just to reach people. There's a list of documents pinned to the top of the Facebook group that everybody should be familiar with. And we'll be adding that volunteer sheet to that. And I believe he said that he's going to be putting out a separate post.
So I have another question.
Go ahead, Pat.
On that spreadsheet, if that was a information, there are places where it's marked all, ALL. Are those opportunities where all of us are expected to be?
Okay. Again, you're referring to the one I asked you not to pay attention to. So just ignore that sheet. There's going to be events where I've asked everyone to participate in. Events are setup and breakdown. If you're out there, you're expected to help out. The Wednesday night party that I'm still trying to produce at this point, I'm asking everybody in camp to be there for that. It's a camp party. So those are really the only events that I'm asking people to actively engage in. As we go into meals, for example, not everyone is going to come home to have dinner or breakfast. But most of the people are going to be there. So we always have to plan for everybody to be there at the meal. Okay, volunteering questions? Anyone? Pat, go ahead and mute yourself.
So if I could provide a little more detail on the volunteering. So I think the goal is, you'll have some shifts that you've signed up for that, you're committing to be there and kind of lead the effort, whether it be, getting the temple space ready for yoga or meditation, which just means like organizing, mooping, making sure there's not stuff on the ground when people come in. Also, you'll have one cooking shift, as Sam said, and Scott. But I would encourage you, try to. This isn't meant to be like a burden. Like, oh, I gotta like volunteer every day. Like, the idea is like we're literally building a community out in the desert. In my mind, that's what Burning Man is. And just when you're around camp and you see something that needs to be done, jump in and do it. If it looks like someone needs help with something, ask them, hey, can I help you with that? And oftentimes the answer is yes. I, don't know what I'm doing with this thing, and I could use some help if you know how to do this. And if you're just bored and you want to help out, like feel free to ask one of the the camp leads, and we can find something for you to do to help out with. I think a great example was last year at breakfast. It seemed like, everyone who was doing breakfast was like kind of doing it at the last minute and like scrambling. And oftentimes someone would just jump up and say, hey, can I help with something? Can I help cook this one thing, like help out the people who are doing the breakfast? Or I would get up and I'd be like, hey, is there coffee? And they'd be like, no, we don't have time to deal with coffee. So I would just make the coffee. And I didn't know how to do that at first, and someone had to show me how to use the percolator, and then I would help make the coffee. It's the camp is you. The camp isn't there for you know, you in the sense of like, you know, I just get up and like breakfast is made and like my coffee is ready to go. You know, it's like do what you can to jump in and help make that happen. Because really we're like a volunteer effort, volunteer community. So yeah, just wanted to provide a little more context on that.
No, I appreciate that, Matt. Thank you very much. And that's also a good point. Is just a few important notes about things you can do anything in camp to help out, but there's a few things that are leads only, and that specifically involves the generator and the pump for the 500-gallon water tank. A lead or someone that's been specifically trained with that should be the only person handling that. We don't want our water supply damaged while we're out there. So that's an important note. Just kind of keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Like one of the morning shifts involves just filling up the containers, creating Gatorade and water. Sam has done a great job putting the spreadsheet together and actually put descriptions in there of what each one entails. And so when it comes to actually setting those up, it should only be a lead. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, and if you ever like get up in the morning and there's no water or no Gatorade and you need some, like feel free to grab one of the leads and, you know, we can help you out with that. Same goes with power. Like if you're like, hey, I need to charge my phone or my camera, can I get some help with that? You know, we can show you how to plug into the solar system or the generator as necessary.
Okay, sorry, I'm here. There's a delivery coming for my stuff that I ordered from for the camp. It just showed up, so yay. All right. How are we on volunteering and understanding the scope of that right now? So you need to be proactive on that sheet, and I need everybody filling out that form within the next week. If we don't have proactive involvement on that, then we have to kind of go into filling in the blanks with people. Now, when we get out there, you're not locked into a volunteer role. You can trade with someone if you want, but we need to make sure things are covered. We had a little bit of a problem with people not showing up to some of their volunteer assignments last year, so we want to avoid that as well. Anything else on volunteering? I don't see any messages from people asking about volunteering. Okay. So let's talk about meals a little bit now. So I think I've shared this story with a few people where in our first year, someone brought out a giant zucchini and grilled it and said, hey, there's dinner. We can't do that. Having a slice of zucchini is not a meal. So when we look at the schedule for the upcoming week, there should be a slot for each person. I do have, I've had some requests and some conversation with people on, you know, some specific needs in this area. We do need to avoid shellfish. I have a few people in camp that have shellfish allergies, so I'm just going to put it out there now. No shellfish. We have 3 vegetarians that I'm aware of. To my knowledge, from conversations so far, and please message me or post on the group if I'm wrong. but the vegetarians also can do cheese and fish. And that helps us out a lot as far as what we're able to do for people in food. Vegetarian cooking is not that hard. So if you do decide you're going to bring out a bunch of steaks, we do need to make sure we have at least a 20% vegetarian option, because you know what? Some people that aren't vegetarians love vegetarian food. So, but the vegetarians have to be able to eat and have to have a viable protein. And I think that's really important. So what is those viable proteins? I'm going to ask for Matt's help on this part of the conversation because he's also a vegetarian. But when it comes to viable proteins, I mean, there are tofus, there's lentils, there's chickpeas, there's mushrooms, there's a lot of stuff out there. Do you have some additional input on that, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, just be mindful that anything you bring that requires refrigeration, you have to bring in a cooler. So that's just something to keep in mind. So if your meal is like in the middle of the week and you bring something frozen that's like vegetarian, just make sure you keep that in the cooler. Another option is you can cook it ahead of time and just package it up and throw it in the cooler. That being said, yeah, some options are like even things like quinoa. Quinoa is a complete protein and obviously vegetarian. And it's actually pretty easy to make. Just boil some water and throw the quinoa in and let it sit for 10, 15 minutes and it's done. Things like, nuts are good. And yeah, if you go to the grocery store and just look in like the vegetarian frozen section, there are a ton of options. There's like veggie crumbles that are basically like ground beef, and you can put that in anything, spaghetti, tacos. There's like tofu pups, which are basically tofu hot dogs that are pretty good. So yeah, if you have any questions about that, like, hey, I'm thinking about making quesadillas, like what would a veggie protein entail? Feel free to ping me and I can give you some ideas.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't realize you ended so abruptly there. Let's see. So I do think this is a really good idea too, is to cook in advance if you can. If you can produce the food and freeze it, that way all we have to do is put it into a pot of boiling hot water to heat up. Like if you vacuum seal, whether it's chicken breasts or chickpea patties or hamburgers or whatever, that's going to be less stress on you in preparation. Um, there can only be one spaghetti dish, while we're out there. There can only be one taco dinner if you're doing that. These are meal options that can be really easy and low impact on you. If you were to cut up all your tomatoes and put them in a container, and your onions and your cilantro, and not your cilantro, but these things that easily store, that way you don't have to do it when you get out there. So that's going to make things a lot easier on you. I know one of the guys already talked about doing a curry. So I don't want to see 6 curries on the menu. So when you fill out your volunteer form, this is also where you're going to put down what you plan on making. And if we have to kind of, make some adjustments with that, we'll work with you on that. The leads and myself will all just kind of keep an eye on things and give you feedback if we need to. Does anyone have any questions about food? There is a link also to a spreadsheet that shows how to calculate your proteins and your starches and your greens if that's what you need. So look for that meal calculation spreadsheet too.
Hey, Scott.
Yes.
What kind of like kitchen setup do we have? Do we have like propane burners? Like, what does the kitchen look like?
Okay. The kitchen will have a propane burner set up and a grill. So we have 3 burners on the stovetop, and we also have a separate grill that will be coming out. The stovetop that I bought does have a grill built into it that comes off, but I also bring a separate grill for cooking as well. And you can do a lot of stuff on that grill or the tabletop. And I did buy new pans and equipment for cooking. So I bought 2 14-inch skillets. I've got 1 large stock pot. And I've got the big turkey fryer, which I use to make tea for our boba tea service. But it can be used for other things too, as long as it's cleaned. And of course, stuff to cook with, spatulas, whisks, and all that other stuff. Does that answer your question, Craig? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that I've accounted for everything. I've gone through the list and I've tried to account for everything. Part of one of those sheets is the Sun Guardian's to-do list, I think is how it's listed. There might be some additional items added for what we need. And if you can help provide those things that you keep in the end, I just don't need anything else donated to the camp physically for our inventory. I don't want to. If you bring it in, I want you to take it home. Yeah.
Scott?
Go ahead, Pat.
There's a mention of a pound of bacon per person. Is that still the case? And tell me about that?
All right. Well, traditionally, I have asked everybody in camp to bring a pound of cooked bacon with them. Actually, we started the cooked bacon last year because we were cooking it on the playa the year before that. And then someone said, and this was Mary, wouldn't it be smarter to cook the bacon and then heat it up when it gets out there? And I said, yes, that sounds a lot better because that means there's no grease that we have to deal with. So bacon and Burning Man are things that go hand in hand unless you're a vegetarian. But I will point out that we had a vegan with us last year who ate bacon while she was out there. So that. No, was it last year? No, it was the year before last. Yeah. So, I mean, if you have any strong objections not to, have bacon in your life, and there's at least one person that has had feelings about that, that's, I'm not going to fight you over it. It's going to help supplement whoever's doing breakfast. And, we'll take that a day at a time. One breakfast last year that was really fantastic, that was easy, is Christy made a oatmeal and had a whole bunch of different toppings like candied nuts, berries, dried fruit, brown sugar, bananas, and stuff like that. That was something that she did last year that was really good too. And then of course we had bacon already made, so it was ready to go. And there is a list of items there that we have asked everybody to bring. And that includes 1 roll of paper towels. We're asking everybody to bring a rug for the temple floor. I think at this point, I've got 2 giant rugs in storage. Somebody said something about bringing a rug that they have that's pretty big. And then if we just, have everybody bring a rug to put on the floor of the temple, we should be able to cover those tarps that we put down and make it look really nice. I did spend a little bit more on temple decorations than originally anticipated, but hopefully in the end it's going to look really cool. Because one of the things I bought last night at not a very expensive amount was black light gun. Cannon, blacklight cannon. It's gonna be cool. So yeah. So take a look at all those lists. Please be familiar with them. And then calculating meals for 30. We have technically 28 people right now. And there's a chance that we could add another person. I'm not actively searching for people right now. We have a few people kind of sitting on the sidelines that haven't committed. If I've done an interview with that person and I haven't heard from them in a couple of days, then I just kind of consider them a loss. I've only got one person that I'm actually waiting to hear from right now. But at this point, all interviews are in and pretty much good to go. And amazing.
So
we got like a group.
yeah, Scott, just quickly, Uday asked about what kinds of rugs to bring.
Ah, okay. You know, I was just thinking like any kind of throw rug would be great. Something you would put in your living room, not so much your bathroom, or in a. I just want to cover the mats in the temple, but I want you all to take them home when you're done. We can talk if you want to donate them to the camp. We'll talk about that, but I don't want another bunch of stuff that I have to take care of. I see your question, Uday. Thank you for catching that, Matt. Does that answer your question? Okay. Yep. Okay. Thank you, Uday. All right. Cool. Let's see. What was I talking? Was I going somewhere, or did I get derailed? I don't remember. So be sure and make sure you're familiar with all those documents. And if you have any questions or feedback on that, then just let us know. I'm getting a message from Jose that he can't sign on, but he can catch up with us later on. So let me just make clear who has what role in camp. And I know I've mentioned some of this before, but I just want to kind of emphasize. Your 3 decision makers for camp that have equal footing for what goes on in camp is me, Matt, and Sam. We are your 3 leads. If someone comes up to the camp and asks who your camp mayor is, that's me. That's because I take care of all the documentation and I am ultimately responsible to Burning Man for stuff that goes on in our camp. The kitchen lead is Jose, who is responsible to make sure that he should not be the one having to clean up after you at any point. You should be cleaning up after yourselves. And if he's in the kitchen and asks you to make sure something is taken care of, you need to listen to what he says. And if you have a problem with that, you don't talk to another campmate about it, you talk to a lead about it. And then we should have daily MOOP sweeps, and the person in charge of LNT and MOOP is Imola. On my screen, she is right. Hold on, she is right there on my screen, waving away. So if she's organizing a MOOP or is offering training on a MOOP sweep or anything like that, please listen to her. And she is an amazing young woman from a lovely little country called London and speaks great German and is so much fun. Let's see. I'm missing one person. Christy is also stepped up a little bit to help out with volunteering. So she'll be working under Sam to help drive volunteers, and she might be chasing people down on occasion. Please don't make us chase people down. It sucks. Running a theme camp is herding cats, and I know that's everybody's heard that before, but it's really true. And I myself forget that sometimes, and yeah, perspective is everything. So, um, herding cats is definitely what we're doing here. One of the nice things about having so many virgins in camp is I think we're excited to have that new energy, that new, you're in something new and shiny, and you get to play with it and be a part of it. And we've got a couple people that are also coming for their second and third year. And then, we've got a few of us that have been here for a little bit. So, let's be excited about it. Let's make the camp shine, and let's make this a great space for all of us.
And on the note about Burgeons, if you haven't already read through all of the links that I sent, like the survival guide, everything's posted in the Facebook group and also on the Google group. Please do read through that as soon as possible and start working on your packing list now. Because if you wait even like another week or so, and you're trying to have stuff shipped from like Amazon or other places, they tend to sell out of like certain Burning Man stuff, and shipping can get delayed. So just start working on that now. And please do let me know if you have any questions. I'm your Virgin resource. No question is stupid in my eyes, because I was a virgin last year and probably had all the same questions. So I'm happy to help.
Yeah, and then use your resources here. Please definitely utilize Matt for that. And he's got a great demeanor. He's perfect for those kinds of conversations. And honestly, it's like I can't give compliments more to Sam and Matt, because they're both really great people to have as leads, and I'm really honored to have them with us. So, anyways, we do have a little bit of extra time, unless there's questions specifically about the subjects that we covered. I do want to talk a minute about RVs, since that's also been a subject that's come up a couple times. If you are coming in a RV, you need to make sure that you're reading the documentation. What's going on?
Oh my God. Are you serious?
We can hear you, Scott.
Are you there? Okay. Jose was calling me and bounced me out of the meeting, I think.
No, we can
you
hear
guys
you.
hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, what's going on? My mic just went kablooey.
We can hear you. I don't know if you can hear us.
But hold on.
All right. Oh my God, Jose, stop calling me. Jesus. All right. Okay, is everybody here?
We're here.
Jose is still calling me. So make sure you're reading all the documentation about the RVs. If there's any liquids dripping off your RV, that's a major no-no. It just can't happen. There was a question about black water in your RV. You cannot empty black water into the toilets. Jose is still calling me, like literally. Hold on.
Can I do that? And you guys can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Jose keeps pulling up my phone and messing me up.
Scott, you're muted now. Sorry, everyone. Give us just a second.
Hey, I don't know if you could hear me, but I just talked to Jose over the other video call to tell him to stop. So
Okay.
He's gonna quit calling now.
Yeah, it's too bad we can't join like Facebook and Google Hangout calls, but that's not a thing. Yeah.
In the meantime, I have a question about the rugs. So I'm flying in from London and I'm gonna take the Burner Express, so it kind of limits me on the items that I can bring into camp. So I would be happy to send money, like the ice money that everybody should send to Matt. I'm happy to send money through PayPal to somebody to get a rug in my name or in my place, if that's an option.
I mean, we can see like how many rugs we have and how many we need, and then kind of go from there. One thing I was going to say is that you can probably buy a rug of some sort at Walmart.
I think I'm back.
Reno. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay.
So yeah, on the rugs, I think you can buy a rug at Walmart. I don't know for a fact, but I'm sure you could find something that would work for a rug if needed.
Can I honestly interject? I thought like one of the best things would do is just hit a Goodwill on the way out. And that might be a fun adventure anyways, just hit one of the, because there's like a ton of them on the way out. If you guys just hit one of those secondhand clothing shops or one of those Goodwill places, you could probably get one for a couple bucks.
But this is
me,
for
it's
the
not
international
money,
folks.
Space. Like I can't put some. I only have 2 pieces of luggage on the Burner Express and 1 space for a bike. So
Oh yeah.
that's
Oh,
all I
you're
can
on Burner
carry.
Express.
Yeah, that's my problem.
We're planning to buy some rugs on Amazon, so we can buy one for you and just take it in the RV.
So if you can take one in for me, but how do I take it out? You know, like a Burner Express in and out. So I'm happy to actually chip in with money if somebody else could take care of.
Okay, I don't want you guys stressing out about it. I mean, there's room for me to take some of these back with me. You know what I mean? I just don't want people to get used to the idea that, okay, I brought this thing, now I'm done with it, now it's just gone. You know what I mean? I mean, literally, we had so much stuff left behind last year. I'm just trying to avoid that again. Hello?
Scott?
Everybody went mute.
We heard you.
Hey, Scott, I have another food item question. I
Yep.
thought I saw on the common list also that everyone should bring 1.5 gallons of water a day. Is that true?
That's your emergency water.
Okay.
So what if, the question is like, what if for some reason our water delivery mysteriously vanished. You know, the company has been really good. Mecco Water has delivered every year so far, and they're such amazing people. But what if something went awry? And so that 1.5 gallons is what you need to survive on the playa daily, just to make sure that you got water. And that can be pushed towards, you know, the daily drinks or whatever as the week goes on. But you'll probably find a use for it in one way or another. You could fill up your shower bags with it. Oh yeah, that's something else we should talk about too, shower bags. So we have a shower set up, and you should not have to use more than a gallon, gallon and a half of water per shower. That might sound like an awful little to some of you, but you're going to be using shower bags inside of a tent to shower. So it's going to be important for you not to use too much. And by going back to shower bags, we're able to measure now what people are using. We're not policing you, but we're keeping you from, you know, filling up our evaporation pond too fast and killing what resources that we have. So if you have your own shower bag, bring it. I do have, I think, 4 shower bags that I'm bringing along. So in the morning, when someone fills the water barrels, they're also going to need to fill the shower bags and set them out in the sun so they get hot. In all likelihood, showers will start in the late afternoon for people. I know some people are morning shower people, but a lot of people tend to want to shower in the later afternoon before it gets cold. If you shower after the sun starts going down, you will freeze your chicones off. Like literally, you will freeze. So, just saying.
Sorry, Scott. One question. Shower bag is something that we should. It's a bag that we should bring with us, or it's something that you have. What is it?
I have shower bags for everyone. I've got I think 3 5-gallon shower bags, and I've got a 2.5-gallon shower bag for camp. If you have your own, and some people have had their own, it's just helpful. You don't have to worry about it. You guys, especially traveling from overseas, I don't want you to stress about too much. You got enough on your plate. But you know, self-reliance is a lot too. So.
Yeah, I want to interject for the virgins. Remember that you know, you need to bring everything you need to survive in the desert for a week, and that does include water, and it does include food. So you know, make sure you're bringing at least like snacks in case something terrible happens and you know we don't have any food. So you know, and that's all covered in the survival guide. You know, we will have some things in camp that you can use, but if you really absolutely have to have it, you should bring it.
Anyone else? We got 5 minutes left.
Sorry. Like,
no
if
worries,
anybody needs any medicine that you're taking regularly, please make sure that you bring it with you. If you require something on a daily basis, please make sure you bring it with you. And on another note, to Matt's note, that there is last year there was a shared cooler, which means that every time we cooked something and there was a leftover, we put it in the shared cooler so that if you are hungry between meals, you can check. But please, please, if it's marked as a private cooler, don't touch it. Only the shared cooler. And that's all I'm saying.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Yeah, we did have somebody that kind of broke that rule last year. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, if the coolers are going to be collected in an area where we can manage them and drain them as we need to. But one cooler, and I typically will indicate which one that is. We'll reserve for people to pick through for leftovers if you're hungry. And thank you so much for bringing that up, Amola. I appreciate that a lot.
And just as a quick reminder, please pay your ICE fees. It's $20 per person. The deadline was yesterday, so I will give a day or two of grace, and then I'll start harassing people. But I provided several ways to pay that fee. And then what will happen is I'll have the cash on the playa. And then whoever's day it is for picking up ice, they'll get the cash and then go pick up the ice. So it just makes it easy, so we don't have to worry about bringing cash and every person having cash on the playa.
Absolutely. All right, cool. So I still need to bring this down because one, I have to be at work in a little bit, and two, I try to keep meetings to an hour or less if at all possible. If you guys feel we need to have another discussion, I'm more than happy to do that. Our next meeting is here in San Francisco as a build day, and it's a good day for us to get together and be a little bit social at the same time. So if you're in San Francisco or Bay Area and can, it's going to be at my house. We'll be working on the icon for Kali, and we'll be working on the changes to the burn barrel. I want to cut it in half and make it a little nicer for people to be able to be around. Because it was just a giant oil drum before, and I think it's not. We can make it have a little fun with it. And there's some other projects too here and there. I'm really grateful for Christy to taking on the flags and making the flags for camp. There's a couple other little projects I'm hoping to see get off the ground. The project list is also on the to-do page. With if it's assigned to someone, it's got a name on it, and if you want to be a part of it or help with it, you just have to speak up. But otherwise, unless there's any last questions, you got 2 minutes for any last question. 2 minutes, quick. Uday, you doing good? All right, cool. There we go. And I see everybody in Moscow all grouped together over there. That's really cool. Hi! Irina, Diana, and Mikhail. Yay! All right, who else can I see on here? Oh, Pat. We got to talk to Pat in Palm Desert. Hey, Pat. And I see Estelle and Emanuela in London. There's Craig and Jared over in East Bay. So yay. All right, guys. That's just what I can see on my screen anyways. Okay. Thank you all. You guys have a beautiful day, and we will keep talking. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, hey. The password for the meeting, I almost forgot, is, hold on, I got to come up with something. It's been easy in the past. We're going to, immediacy. The password is immediacy. All you guys are fine, but the rest of you who need to catch up.
Money? How about
Ice money.
Ice money. Okay, ice money. If you give me ice money or immediacy, I'll take either one. But yes, ice money and immediacy. Both of them fit together. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. See ya.
Bye. Bye.